Hey, and welcome to episode 153 of Meeple to Meeple. This is number 10 in my content creator community series. So thanks again for joining me. Today, my guest is, how shall we put this? She has managed to prove that you can be a successful content creator and a powerful influencer in our community while living in a remote area of the United States. And despite the flat landscape of Western Nebraska, there is nothing flat about her content or her influence. Unfortunately, she has a knack for losing all the games. Today, joining me is Sara from Sara Always Loses. Sara, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, PJ?
You know, it's cold. It's very
Very
cold.
cold, yes.
Yes.
Lots of snow.
Mm-hmm. No snow yet, but it is just as a Cajun from Louisiana, I still can't get used to the winters here.
Oh man, that's my
Nope.
favorite. As soon as I'm back in school, there should just be snow on the ground. That's my philosophy.
I mean, I like it, but then I have to shovel the snow.
Shovel, drive
That's
in
not
it,
Yeah, we don't
walk
have
on
to
the
do
sidewalk.
we didn't have to do that as a kid. It's just insane. But here we are. And we're
Yes.
just and I guess it's going to be, if anyone bothers to listen to this and not listen to it later on, it's 2 days before Christmas. So, Merry Christmas everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas. I I dug my Christmas gear
Yeah,
out here, so
I pulled out my Christmas Scally cap. I'm so want these guys to be a sponsor. So, go to Boston Scally and get a Scally cap today.
that's awesome.
I've been courting them for months. It's like I wear these hats on every episode, and it's just like, come on, you can do it. You can do it. My wife doesn't want me to spend any more money on it. Board games, we can spend as much money as we want on board games, but not the caps. Yes. This is how this conversation is going. It's great. Love it. Merry Christmas. It's just, oh yeah, it's the winter time. I love it. So let me ask you this question. I've been starting it off with everyone. What was the first game you ever played as a kid?
Oh man, as a kid, probably like
Yeah.
Candyland or those fun games. I
Right?
I remember a lot playing Hi Ho Cheerio in kindergarten. I remember I have some good memories of that. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that'll take you back.
it will. And just,
Whoa.
we um I'm an only child. And so I think that
Hmm.
was one thing that my parents and I did quite a bit. We played games and I always asked for a board game for Christmas. And so I have some really good memories of playing like the game of life with my cousins at Christmas and having those really fun early experiences with board games that I think really did shape where I've gone
Okay.
now.
Nice. That's so interesting. I had a similar experience, although not I was not an only child, but playing board games as a kid, I didn't have a lot of friends. So
Mm.
I ended up playing a lot of games alone. And
Yes, some
I
solo
don't play
modes. I've been
solo.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't play solo modes anymore, you know? I can't get over that emotional baggage.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm sure God knew more than just this, but God knew this about me. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to find a Yankee from Ohio who's already a board gamer, and I'm going to set it up so that y'all meet in the deserts of Arizona, because that's where we were for grad school. And that's where I met
Awesome.
my wife. And she was already a gamer. So it was like,
Mhm.
there was a moment when we were dating. We were in the mall. We were on our way back. There was a board game store in the mall, and we were walking out. And I just looked at her and I said, thank you for being you. Overwhelming gratitude for having met a gamer who would take me in and love me and
And it
pet
makes
me and
such a big difference. Like when you
yeah,
have that family that will play games with you, you get to play so much more and it
yeah,
fills my cup up quite a bit. I when we haven't played games for a while, I
yeah.
feel it. I feel that mental like, man, my mental health is not good and we haven't been playing games.
I
So,
know. I know. I was reading an article, I think it was a year ago. I think it was in 24. It was a committee, or I don't know what it was, but there was a commission or something. The United Nations did a study on the positive mental health effects
mm,
of board games on individuals, family members, and whatnot. And I thought that was really cool. And they were trying to push, they had like, I think they're in an agenda of pushing board games in the classroom.
mm.
Which, speaking of, as a teacher, do you bring the board games into the classroom?
Occasionally, yeah, it definitely has to be specific situations. So we've been doing Fun Fridays recently, and I'm a
Yeah.
music teacher. So in my
Okay.
ensembles choirs, we've been doing Fun Friday, and they got to choose yesterday was Friday. We got to choose whether they wanted to play Green Team Wins
Mm-hmm.
or if they wanted to play Hitster. And so the way we do Hitster is if they can get the row of 10 in a row, then I lose and they all get a Jolly Rancher. And so I had one class that chose that and two that chose to play Green Team Wins. So I do bring them in a little bit.
So for the Jolly Ranchers, I'm just thinking about with Christmas upon us, did you have like the sour green apple and the cherry, so it was just red and green, or
They would hate that. They want blue. They want blue. If there's no
okay,
blues, they want me to refill it. So
okay. Well,
they do.
you might be Sarah always loses, but we've got a good friend in England who's always plays blue. So
Ooh.
yeah, shout out there.
Yeah, they should have a
Yeah,
Jolly Rancher jar filled with blue.
right?
It would be so
Absolutely.
popular in my classroom.
What's the story with your username?
So when I first started posting, I was trying to come up with that catchy kind
Yeah.
of username. And it was definitely a perception that I had that with the board gaming, I lost a lot and Drew won a lot. I think that perception has changed a little bit as we started tracking. So I think if
Mhm.
you feel that way, track your games because you probably don't lose as much as you think. And something that, just speaking of mental health and personal growth, something that really came out of gaming for me was the people pleasing aspect. And
Mhm.
so when we were playing games, it ended up being more important to me that everybody was having a good time and everybody had that chance to win. And so I would maybe not make the most strategic moves so that I keep the peace at the table.
Mhm.
And I think through gaming, that's given me the confidence that, I can play my way. I can play my strategy. I don't have to worry about hurting somebody's feelings. And so I think that it's been a lot of growth. And if you look at my stats now, it's definitely closer to 50-50.
Oh,
But we've kept the username.
sure.
I've had a lot of people relate to it.
It's interesting you bring that up. So when we moved from Louisiana to Illinois, that was the general perception. I don't know that it was a perception. I think it was the reality too, to be honest. But my belief was that Katie beat me constantly, right? And then I think 3 years ago, she picked up BG Stats
Mm-hmm.
and started tracking. She loves to track everything, right? Our plays, number of plays, most played, just it all.
Mm-hmm.
But what has happened in the past 3 years, 4 years, is I usually win the head to heads, and then I'm not as much of a loser
As I perceive to be.
as I think I am. Yeah. And this year I've got pretty commanding lead. I mean,
Nice.
we're almost at 95% of our entire collection played for the
Awesome.
year.
I'm jealous of that stat.
Still got a few days left, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
holidays. So what else are you going to do? It's too cold outside. So yeah, but yeah, I don't lose as much as I thought, and it's really interesting that you perceive that you lost more. Then you start tracking it, and you're like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've even gotten so that it's like specific games. So there's like, if one of us like, well, you always win this one. Well, let's check the scoreboard. No, I actually don't always win this one. In fact, you have won the last 3 times we played it.
Is there a game that you just have, like you have a winning record, like
Yeah,
overwhelming?
there's
Yeah,
a few. Everdell is probably the one that
Everdell.
stands out the most. I do tend to win that one. My daughter has won a couple times, and I don't think Drew has ever won on that one. So
Well, you know what? In the spirit of the season, maybe you should play it once and let Drew,
yeah,
go
just
easy on him and be a people pleaser once. It's
yes, just
okay
once in my life.
occasionally. It's okay. For us, it's Hadrian's Wall. I think it was like 20 out of 25 plays, I won 24 times.
Oh wow.
But what's interesting is Katie was not discouraged. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to play it again. And, I will beat you. So yeah, she
I
finally
think
beat me.
that's
But
the sign of a really good game too, though. Like, do you care if you win or you lose, or do you just
right,
enjoy playing it? And so
yeah,
that's kind of a mark for us too. It's like, oh well, I don't really want to play that one because I never win. Well, maybe that's just
yeah,
not a game for us.
that's true. No, you're absolutely right. There's definitely some truth to that. If you can enjoy the game and lose, then I think it's a sign of a good game and a good design.
Mm-hmm.
I know I certainly feel that way about Obsession. Squeezed it in. I love Obsession. I don't care if I win. I just want to, get all hoity-toity and
Yes,
Victorian England and
and I love the cards in that one because I love reading the descriptions of all the
yep,
people. It's just that's the best part of Obsession to
yes,
me.
yep. So what we do, our house rule is when you're playing Obsession, you you kind of narrate the
Mm,
event that you're hosting, and you read the flavor text of the card. It's like, so Lady Danbury, the blah blah blah, whatever the flavor text
mhm.
is, she'll be having afternoon tea with the Countess of whatever. Now, we don't do that every time, right? Only when it's a new guest coming out. Otherwise, that would get tedious if you had to hear me say Lady Danbury likes to,
Every single time, yeah.
every time. Yeah, but the first time you gotta get into that. So yeah, everyone's so tired of hearing me talk about obsession, but deal with it.
It's
It is. It's so good. So how about, what was the first game that got you into the modern hobby?
Yeah, so Drew and I had been married for a few years,
Okay.
and we were looking just for a couple activities that we could do that weren't just, sitting on the couch watching TV and being on our phones. But I don't even think when we first got married that like being on our phones was as big of a thing. It was more
Mm,
just we want to do something that's more interactive and not just sitting next to each other. And Drew is a someone that likes to do a lot of research. So he was
okay.
researching all these different things, and he found Forbidden Island. And that was such just like a experience for me because you can play games and like work together.
Right.
You don't have to lose. Like you can lose altogether or win altogether, but you don't have to have one person beating up on another person. Like
Mm,
that definitely opened our minds up to modern board gaming, and we continued to go down that rabbit hole a little bit, probably preferring co-ops for quite a while. And then the pandemic hit and we were home a lot, and that was really when our collection probably exploded from
right.
maybe 40 games to I think we're pushing 400 right now,
Uh-huh.
which is too many. That's too many games. We need to do a little culling on that, but definitely Forbidden Island will always have a place in
Forbidden
our heart
Island.
just for those first memories.
A good one.
It
Forbidden
is.
Island's a really good one. Matt Leacock knows how to make a cooperative game,
Yes.
right?
Pandemic was
Man.
right up there too for us. I think
Yep.
we slept on Pandemic for a long time because
Mm,
we thought it was going to be too hard for us. That's something that we struggle with as gamers, is that confidence of trying something a little outside of our comfort zone. And
yep.
so taking that step up, trying something a little more difficult. Usually when we do it, we're like, "Oh, this is great. We can do this." And then the next time we see a weight rating on a game and we're like, "Ooh, that sounds like it's going to be too heavy for us."
I just want to point out to those of you who are listening to this on Spotify or other streaming services and not watching the video, this lady right here has Seven Wonders Architects and Wild Gardens behind her head, and she thought Pandemic was too hard.
Well, this was like
I know.
probably 5 years ago or more even, but
It's just funny because it's how our perception of board games just
mhm.
change and evolve over time, right? And are you and Drew still kind of, do you still favor co-ops?
It's probably closer to half and half, and we're struggling probably to find newer co-ops that we really, really
Mm,
enjoy. I think the co-op, the direction co-ops have gone in is very difficult. And
yeah.
so if we play a co-op game and we play it on the easiest level and we play two or three times and we can't win and we just feel like we can't, like we shy away from those. We want to
Okay.
at least have a shot
Yeah.
at winning. If we need an easy win, like we can dial down that difficulty and be like, okay, we're
Yeah.
going to win this one.
Right.
Let's get into it. But I think more often now we are probably playing competitive games. But I
Okay.
think that also comes back to the perception that we can track those plays, we can see who's won.
Right.
There doesn't feel like there's an imbalance as
Right.
far as one person is always getting that win while the other person is always losing.
I would recommend, given that you're out, you're out in western Nebraska, the winters get very cold. I don't know what the snow day laws are with school and how often that affects your job,
Mm-hmm.
but I imagine there's some time where you're stuck inside. So there's a great two-player. I don't know how you guys feel about campaign games.
Mm-hmm.
But it is an exclusively two-player campaign
Oh,
game
that's interesting.
by Sky Kingdom Games. It's called Isofarian Guard.
Hmm. That is one we do
And
not.
it is it's an open world narrative campaign. My wife and I have been playing it for 2 years now
Sounds like it.
because you have to commit for a long
Mm-hmm.
time, but it's bag building. So you put chips in your bag, and then when you fight a monster, you fight together. So it's like
Oh,
you
awesome.
take a turn, then I take a turn, and then the enemy takes a turn, and then we
Mm-hmm.
just do that again. And you pull the chips out of the bag that determine what cards that are on your playmat in front of you you can activate, powers. But it's really cool because it's exclusively 2-player.
Yeah, that does
Like,
sound interesting.
so you've got this board, it's got a map, and the miniature is the 2 figures that you're playing. So it's 1 figure on the board,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the
The
2
2 players.
miniatures. Because, it's that classic back-to-back, right? Holding the sword or the crossbow or whatever. But it's a unique story. It's done really well. There might be something to look into.
Yeah.
The caveat is that the box will not fit in a Kallax cube, because a Kallax cube is 13 by 13 by 13. The box is 14 by 14 by 14. So if you don't care about that, you're golden.
We have all play shelves, so we don't have to worry about it.
Oh yeah, big fancy over there.
Yes.
How you got them, or how you got them,
yeah.
No, I don't know how you got them.
Yeah.
I know the story of the shelving, but
yes.
No, how did you get the all play shelves?
So we it was 2 or 3 years ago now that they ran a contest, and you could submit your space for a board game room makeover, and I shot my shot, played the teacher card, and we won a board game makeover from All Play.
I do remember this story now. Wow. Congratulations.
Well,
That's awesome. I completely forgot about it.
Now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Yes. And that is one thing I will say, is that a dedicated board gaming table has made all of the difference for us getting to play games when we don't have to constantly clear off the dining table to be able to play. It's just like we play so much more now.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Yeah. No, that is a must. That is a must. Although they're so darn expensive, That
was 2 or 3 years ago, and I think maybe now we would have saved up enough to kind of get a table if we hadn't won it. So we were just so blessed by that.
Yes,
it really did change our lives a lot. So
yeah. So you should host Western Nebraska Con
in my basement.
In your basement. Right?
We might all fit. I don't know how many gamers we have out here, so.
So you've been, so the modern gaming, right? So that Forbidden Island, do you remember when that was? What year that was?
I want to say 2017, 2018, somewhere in there.
So it's before the pandemic, but yeah. All right. So you've been playing for nearly 10 years in the hobby. 8 to 10 years you've been in the hobby. Do you have a favorite player color?
Yes, green. I will pick green.
Okay. So does that mean the green team wins is your favorite game of all time?
It probably should be. Yeah, we do have, it's really funny though, because we do have one couple in town that we play games with, and his preferred player color is green. So we always kind of have to duke it out. Who's going to get the green this time?
How do you resolve that?
Usually we probably fight over giving it to the other person even more. Who's gonna take it? So
no, you be green.
You have it. Yeah.
No, you can have it. Yeah. What about so 8 to 10 years is a long time, and you get a lot of review copies. You've made so much content. Like I said in my intro, I mean, you really are a powerhouse influencer in the community. Do you have a favorite game mechanic that you gravitate towards?
That is so tough, because I really do enjoy a lot of things.
Yep.
I think if you tell me a game has an engine that I can build, I think I'm there. If you lead with that, and then the rest of it, I don't care as much about. I think engine building is probably one of my big ones. Wingspan, those kinds of games really speak to me. This has become a little bit of a bad word in gaming, but if it's multiplayer solitaire, I will be there. I love being able to kind of do my own thing and have that social interaction around the table, but don't mess with my stuff. I don't want you to take cards out of my tableau. I don't want you to force me to discard stuff. Leave my stuff alone.
Okay. Is that a bad word?
Yeah, it's used, in my experience, it's used as a negative when describing a game, especially in reviews. It's just multiplayer solitaire. There's no interaction. So
yeah, I'm a little torn, right?
Yeah.
My wife and I deal with that a lot, right? A game that we're still mulling over is Vantage, right? Which, so objectively, I think across the board, everyone agrees that Vantage is a fantastic game. And the narrative is amazing. I think the challenge, however, is that lack of interaction if two of us are playing the game, because we've been burned by those before, right? We're not interested in sitting across the table from each other and just doing my thing right here in front of me.
Mhm.
You know, so I kind of get that. Talk about that all the time. It's really important. So yeah, so that's kind of an example of one that we go back and forth. Do we want to get it? It sounds good, but yeah, I just don't think of it as a bad word. It's just kind of a preference and
Mhm.
not,
Oh, definitely.
not an absolute. But I guess I could see how. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think for me personally, it's a preference. Do you like a lot of
Right.
interaction or do you not like a lot of interaction? I
Right.
guess my perception is that people that like a lot of interaction will say that that's a negative.
Right. Right. I love cooperative games, and cooperative games are reliant upon interaction.
Interaction.
Although your original observation about co-ops can be problematic. They can be too heavy and too hard on the front end. The other one too, although what I found recently is that recent cooperative games are coming up with creative asymmetrical ways to make it difficult to table captain, right? Because I
Mhm.
think that's why
Oh,
people don't like co-ops is
mhm.
you don't need PJ telling you what to do on your turn, and it's like, why do I even have to be here? I get that. What about all right, so this question has got two parts, and it's got two parts because it's out of compassion. Because the first part is difficult for most people, and I understand. Do you have a favorite board game of all time? Here's
So,
the
okay.
second part. The second part will let you off the hook. If that's too difficult, do you have a favorite board game like right now? Is there something that's hitting your table constantly? So, yeah.
The good news is I have an answer for both.
Yes.
So, about once or twice a year, I try to do the Pub Meeple ranking and
Hmm.
just kind of figure out what I'm liking right now. I haven't done it for a while, and that's probably something that needs to happen soon as we're wrapping up the year and I want to figure out where I stand right now. But I'm kind of a data nerd. I like to see those numbers. I like to see where things go. The last 2 years, my number one game has been Earth.
Okay.
And so that goes back to that multiplayer solitaire. But I argue there is interaction because what the other players choose affects what you're going to do too. It kind of
Very
affects
much
your
so.
strategy a little bit.
Yep.
So
Earth.
I love that tableau. I think the photos are really cool.
Hmm.
It's something that Drew likes to play because he is a horticulture major from college. So he
Okay.
likes to see all the plants and the effects that they have. And so I think it's a really good couple game for us to play. Something that's hitting my table right now. Literally, I have had this game for 10 days, maybe. Come sail away. I have probably played it 8 times in those 10 days.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so
It is
puzzly.
so good.
And it's such an easy solo game to just pull out and table and still interesting choices to make as a
Uh-huh.
as a solo player as well.
Okay. It is amazing at 2. It
Yes.
plays great at 2. We've also played it at 4,
Mhm.
and it is fantastic.
We
It
played it
is.
at 3 the first time we played it. Our daughter
Yeah.
played with us. And so
Oh, yeah.
that was the first time that sold me on buying the game. So, yeah.
Katie kept hearing about this game. Everyone kept talking about it because it's like a Japanese designer.
Mhm.
And I had heard things independent of what she had heard. And there was a copy at our local game store. And she was like, oh, let's, I don't know why we would go back and forth. Because usually if we're both on board, it's, yeah. Like I said, we could buy board games. I just can't buy my Scally Cap. But so we picked it up, and I think we played it like 3 or 4 times that weekend, right?
Mhm.
And then since we were like anyone who comes over, like, guys want to play Come Sail Away?
It's an
You
easy
know,
teach.
it's an easy teach. After a long day of playing 2 scenarios of Frosthaven with our big local game group,
Mhm.
you get through 8. Come Sail Away is a great palate cleanser at the end of the
Yeah.
day as well. Although that's not to say that that's what Come Sail Away is a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good on
It's
its
got a
own.
lot. It's got a lot of strategy,
It does.
even, but it's so accessible and so easy, right?
Yeah.
So good.
We had a
So
similar
good.
experience because I had just heard so many
Mhm.
people rave and rave and rave about it. And then we had gone to Spielbound in Omaha, which is a fantastic board game cafe. We'll give them a little shout out.
Okay, yeah.
I noticed they had a copy for sale. And then I was like, I wonder if they have it in their collection too. So we tracked it down, got it out, played it, and I think about 3 turns, and I was like, yeah, that's coming home
Yeah.
with me.
Yep. Yeah. We've got coming up in the beginning of January is Geekway Mini.
Mm.
So if you're familiar with Geekway to the west in St.
Mhm.
Louis, anywhere with 2 to 3,000 attendees, mostly open gaming, games library, play to win, very small vendor hall, couple of events. Geekaway Mini, I think, is 400 attendees. It might be 700, but it's at a hotel in St. Louis. It's one big hall, and it's nothing but open gaming and play to win. There are no events. There's nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And we've been doing really well the past few years. We we each have won a game,
Oh,
so
nice.
we always take 2 games home every year to start the new year, which is really cool. I say that I'm going to jinx myself this year. But it's great to play a lot of games, to try out a lot of games. Like
Mm-hmm.
we played Earth in 2023, and it was boring. Everything else that you said about Earth, I agree.
Yeah.
The art, the design, yes. We did not. It wasn't terrible because the game. I mean, it's a solid game.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to that preference. We were just like, oh, okay.
And that's
It left us, you know,
wanting a little more.
yeah. And then we discovered Civolution and Men Nefer at the beginning of this year in January of 25, and we won a copy of Civolution and Men Nefer.
Oh,
Men
awesome.
Nefer, if you don't have it, you need it. It is great. It is the single game that it just marries theme and mechanics so beautifully. Oh, it's so
And that
good.
goes back
So
to
good.
our lack of confidence in heavier games because I look at that one, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if we can do that one.
No. It's heavy. Okay.
Yeah.
It is a heavy game, but you literally have like 7, 10 paths to victory. There's so many ways to score points, but I mean, it is so well informed
Mm.
by the social, cultural, and religious and agricultural practices of ancient Egypt, and all the steps make sense. You must take this action in order to take this action, which you want to take, but you can't bury the dead. You got to embalm them first.
Mm.
And so that action, it's so good. It's so worthy.
Okay, you might be selling me on it. I was
Yeah. Yeah.
an ancient Egypt nerd in school, so I might have to
Well,
check them out.
then you can't go wrong. I also think it was a heavy game, so not. I think we really enjoyed it. So we played it like 3 or 4 times at Geekway Mini, and
Mm-hmm.
each time you play, you get entered to win that title.
Oh, each time.
Yes, right. So there's a little tablet. The way they Geekway, any convention should mimic what Geekway does in terms of play to win. It is perfection extraordinaire. You check a game out, you play the game, you have 4 hours to return it. Then when you return it, there's a tablet you go up to, you give it a rating, you put in your badge number and everyone who played it with you, right? So I could check it out, and then you and Drew and Katie and I play it. I will
Mm-hmm.
then enter all 4 of your badge numbers. We will all get one entry to win that game.
That is awesome.
And then every time you play a game, you go to this tablet and you do that every single time. There are no sheets of paper in a cup. I am looking at you, Tennessee Game Days. A plastic cup with a piece of paper and a number in it. No. It is the 21st century. Embrace technology. You can do this. You can do it.
Speaking of play to win,
Yes.
new con to us last year was Great
Mhm.
Plains Game Fest, and they had a fantastic play to win selection. And
I
I think
heard.
they did it similarly where you scanned your badge to check it out,
Mhm.
and then they would also scan everybody else's in the group's
Yep.
badge for you too.
Yep. Yeah. It's so worthy. But I think to your original point, boy, I really segued away. I'm sorry, guys. You know what? It's Christmas. I'm just going to talk. Is that it lets you try a bunch of games. So Geekway Mini is okay, we try a bunch of games, so then we know what we want and what we don't
Mhm.
to be looking out for in the course of the year. So by the time we get through, you get I guess what we could call real Geekway in May, and then you got and then, of course, UKGE is at the end of May. So all of our British friends tell us these games are great. Look out for them. And then Origins is in June, and then Gen Con's in August. I'm just exhausted thinking about it. 2025 was an exhausting year of going to conventions. Then we know what we want and what we don't. So, like Gen Con this year, our list of games we wanted was like 3. We really didn't buy nearly as much as we had in the past, simply because we got to try stuff out.
Yeah.
You know?
And that That is definitely a luxury I am jealous of.
Yeah, I know. I know. How far are you from Omaha? So you talked about, what is it
Yeah.
called? Let's plug them one more time. What was it?
Great Plains Game Fest. And
Great
that takes place
Plains
in
Games
Lincoln.
Fest. That's
Yeah.
in Lincoln. Talk to
Yeah.
me about the Game Cafe in Omaha. What is it? Spiel?
Spielbound. Yeah, they call it Midtown Omaha, and they have lots of tables, and they have a fairly extensive game collection, and they have a nice retail area. They have food and drinks, and we have spent many an evening having
Excellent.
Spielbound pizza and some beverages and playing games whenever we make it to
That
town.
is fun. We will include a link in the description of the episode, and
Yes, definitely check them out.
we'll
They're
plug them.
awesome.
Yeah, so Omaha, that's great.
Yeah.
So do you have, I know you're on Instagram, but do you have a favorite platform you like to use when you're creating your content?
Yeah, Instagram is probably
Okay.
my preference. We
Okay.
also have a YouTube channel with our
Hmm.
friend that's local. I talked about our couple friends that we
Yeah.
play games with. We have the YouTube channel with them. But for me, Instagram has that instant connection with people. You get the comments right away and you can respond and then you can see what they're doing and like you just get that instant connection with people, which is really cool.
What about TikTok? Yeah.
I've always had the perception that I'm too old for TikTok.
No, no,
So
that's definitely not true. I struggled with TikTok because TikTok's got problematic existence here
it
in the
does.
US,
And I
right?
think that's a big hang up for me as well.
Because I noticed a lot of our friends and members of the community in the UK have really recently embraced TikTok and are finding a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, who knows, right?
Who
There's just
knows?
so many platforms to choose
Yeah.
from. So let's talk about content creation. I'm interested in the story of when you transition from a casual gamer to a content creator, right? So you and Drew, you play Forbidden Island, you're like, oh, these games are fun. At
Mm-hmm.
some point, you decide to make the intention of posting everything, and then your world changes, and All
Yes.
Play redoes your whole basement. I
And
mean,
that really was the turning point, I think.
yeah,
Just having the more photogenic area. But again, going back to our friends that live in town, they had just moved to town, and our friend Brody had done some review work. And so that was never something on my radar as something that I thought I could do, that I was
right,
qualified to do, that was possible for me. I think I'd been posting on Instagram just for fun, just to get my game photos off of my Facebook page because I thought my friends and family were a little annoyed with me because I was just posting games all the time. But yeah, so I was just casually posting pictures. I did not have that instant success. You hear those success stories where, oh, I
right,
just started posting and I have 10,000 followers in 2 months. No, that was not me. I posted for probably 2 years and had 100 followers. And so I think that's something that people don't always realize is that there to growth on any social media platform, there is a strategy and there are things that you should be doing. And I had no idea on any of that. I didn't have a marketing background. I didn't have a photography background. I didn't have a theater background. Like I just didn't know. And
yeah,
so once I did kind of make that decision, I think I started pushing a little bit more after we had found out that we had won the makeover, because the process for that was we found out in like maybe February that we had won. And then the
okay,
makeover was at the beginning of May. And so I had this whole long time in between that I kind of was like, you know what, this might be an opportunity to jump in. And then we had to be quiet about it from the beginning of May until the middle of July. And so like we weren't able to like show it off or anything for about 6 weeks. So yeah.
So did they just like ship everything to you and said, have fun? Or did they come in and
No,
install
they
the
came in.
shelving and
They put us up in a hotel for 2 nights while they came
what?
in, and they actually didn't want us to really do much cleaning or like tidying and stuff. And so like
Yeah.
they just took everything out and then they themselves did it. It wasn't like
Wow.
a crew really. They had some electricians come in to do a couple things, but
Okay.
honestly they did a lot of the work themselves. And we're just so grateful for that whole experience, and we haven't
Wow.
really changed anything. It's very functional for us. So
Thank you, All Play.
yes, thank you, All Play.
Thank you, All Play. So how many games were in your collection at that point? Do you remember? Do you know?
We were under 200 for sure.
Under 200.
Yeah, and actually they gifted us probably about 60 games in that process as well. And so I think
Wow.
that maybe put us right around 200.
Okay.
And that almost felt overwhelming at the time. Like, oh my gosh, these are all these games unplayed on the shelf. I think
Right.
at that point I was trying to keep, I call it shelf of shame, some shelf of opportunity. At that point I was trying to keep it in the single digits, like no more than 9 unplayed games in the house.
Yeah.
And that rule has gone out the window at this point. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. And again, completely changed not only just the gaming, but also, again, getting into the content creation a little more seriously and gaining what I like to call a part-time job that I don't always get paid for.
Right. So I'm just looking it up. Check out episode 78. It's an episode exactly on what you're talking about. We do not call it a shelf of shame. It is your board game backlog. It has
I did my backlog
alliteration.
burn in July.
Yeah.
Where I
See?
played a new game every day.
Right.
That was a lot.
There you go. So we keep a backlog of probably, I think at any given time, the most our backlog has of unplayed games is 3.
Nice.
I think for one thing, because I don't do reviews, I don't get inundated with a lot of review copies. So when I buy a game, I play a game, right? Because that's what we're here for. Now, what I do get, but they come and go, are prototypes for playtesting. Because my wife and I do a lot of playtesting. I mean, we've got a prototype upstairs right now that needs to be played. But it's not part of the backlog. And because we commit to playing our entire collection a minimum of once every year, this is separate from the backlog, right? We so we're like over 90%. Yeah. So it's just, I think we have a backlog of 1 right now. We have one unplayed game, like we have never played it. But that's because it's a Kickstarter that came in, and
you don't have control over when those come in.
Right. We don't. We do not have control over that.
And I think that's always been a goal of ours, is we have a game, we should be playing it. We should be playing it every year. And if we're not playing it, then it's time probably to say goodbye. But saying goodbye is so hard. That is so hard for us.
I don't experience that.
No,
not anymore. No. Because there's a reality to it. We've got to manage. Like we figured out, you said it yourself, you have 400 games, and that's too many.
It's too many.
Well, there's only one solution. You have to get rid of them. But that doesn't mean that you can't. There are many ways to give them to good homes. Or you can sell them. Used game sales are great. We've got one in our local game store here in Springfield. And then we've got Origins, and then Gen Con is like the last ditch, right? But usually we get everything sold. And the reality is if a game's not hitting the table,
Yeah. And I think some of that might be a rural gamer problem too, is if I get rid of a game, chances are I can't play it again until I go to a con. So that's
okay.
And that's okay.
Then you'll play it at a con.
Maybe, if I have time.
Yeah.
And then
if you have time, you're going to make time to play a game with me at the Great Plains Game Festival.
Yes.
Fest, not festival.
We do also have a really good game sale, like what do you want to
see?
Yep.
See?
That was very good for us. That was one place where we sold a lot of games last year.
Right.
But again, then being rural, we have to truck them with us.
Yes.
4 hours to Lincoln.
That's okay.
And then if we don't sell it there, our only option is online sales, which can be time consuming. And so I think that's a holdup for us too, is just, I
get that.
If I get rid of a game, where's it going?
Right. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, there's like game trades and stuff too. I don't know. Cause the reality is like, I think there's like a math trade where they like math out the value of the game that you're trying to get rid of and the game that you want. And so I don't know. I don't do math, guys. That's not for me. So let's talk about the community, right? Which is why we're here, right? This is all about unity and diversity, right? You cannot have unity without diversity, right?
Yes.
It's been said recently is like, we want unity. Well, okay. In order for us to be unified, we have to embrace everyone so that we can be unified, right? What to your mind, because you're in a very unique position. You're a school teacher, so you see games differently, right? You have a different lens than just a gamer or a content creator, even though you have those lenses too. You're also in a very rural, isolated area, and yet you manage to be awesome, right? Like, you don't have to live in Chicago or New York or Los Angeles. You could be in rural Nebraska and just take the world by storm. See, and all play recognize that genius. So you bring all of that to the table. So looking at the community, to your mind, what do we do so well that you're proud to be a part of it?
I think the community is so welcoming. I think as soon as we see somebody new coming in, we're like, you're one of us. We want to support you. We want to see what you're playing. Tell us what your
Right.
favorite things are. We so welcome that. And when we see
Yeah.
a new account, we're like, yay, come join us. That's, I think, one of my favorite things is just
Yeah.
how supportive. And I don't feel that it feels competitive. Like, no one's like, well, I have to do better than that person. Like, we're all in this together. We all want to share how awesome this hobby is and how this hobby can change. I don't want to oversell it, but I mean, it can bring you new groups of people. It can change your life. It
It sure
can
can.
bring you into a new social circle. So I think that's something that the community does amazingly.
When you were early on in your content creation, did you feel like you needed to keep up with other content creators?
I still feel that way, but that's my own issue.
Okay.
It's something that just in general I struggle with is comparison. And so just knowing that about myself, when I feel that coming in, I'm like, wait, I'm my own thing.
Yep.
It will
Yes.
happen when it's supposed to happen. Take a deep breath, just keep doing what I'm doing. And I think that something that people can really tell is if you're authentic. If you are really putting out there what you are doing and not trying to copy everybody else. Because I think
Right.
if you start trying to copy everybody else's style or format or things like that, then you lose yourself in the prospect and people can tell.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree. I hope that my sincerity and genuineness
Oh, for
comes
sure.
through to the 20 people who watch my podcast. Yeah, it varies. It's like I that's why I started this. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not really good at the whole review thing. I'm all about the people. Right?
Mhm.
I'm all about, and I fail like everyone else. I'm a sinner who's fallen, and I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and try to do
Oh,
better
I think we all
every
have that piece of content
time.
that we put out and they were like, yep, this is great. Everyone's going to love
Mhm.
this. And then like 5 people watch it and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, I guess we
absolutely.
won't do that again.
Yeah. So, what about the flip side? Is there something you've seen in the community that we need to do better?
I'll put on my rural gamer lens again.
Okay.
I think that those social connections are so important. And so when you are not someone that is able to get to a con and get face-to-face meetings and be able to walk around and say, "Hey, this is me, this is what I do." That's hard. It really
Yeah.
is hard to make those connections professionally. And so we are 4 hours from our nearest major airport. We do have an airport in town, but it flies to Denver. That's all it does. So I mean that it helps sometimes, but again, that's an extra cost that's associated with that flight. And then we're teachers. We're not the wealthiest of professions and we both teach.
Right.
And so there's a cost involved with attending those cons and things like that. And so I wish that there were a more centralized way to make those connections with people when you can't do the face-to-face.
Yes, I agree. I think it's unfortunate. There is no solution. Our country is just so big. I talk about this all the time. All of our friends in the UK, they host these one-day conventions, right? And it's not even really a convention. It's like, 30 of them get together and they bring their kids and they rent a hall for a day. And they've got little cute names for all of them. When my wife and I were in England in 24, we were down in Southampton, and Gareth, my partner in the podcast, we called it Cajun Con because a Cajun gamer. But no, it was like there was like 35 or 40 people came from around the UK to see me. Like, man, you want to talk about warm your heart? Like, I'm just not. I'm not worthy of that. And that was like, ooh. And the British don't like it when you cry, and
get all emotional.
yeah, there was a moment where like we all took a group picture and everyone was getting ready to go back to their table. And I was like, guys, wait, hold on a minute. you know. And then I just had to be a Cajun and be like, I love all of you and thank you so much. And I just really, they welcomed my wife and I, and they took us into their homes. We stayed with folks while we were there. They're just lovely people. Their country is small enough that they can drive 1 to 2 hours or less and then do that and then turn around and go home or get a hotel for the night, right?
Mm.
Like, that's the problem is, okay, so I think I'm 6 hours from Lincoln. That means I'm 10 hours from you. And you can't just come to Springfield for the day. You'd have to drive, stay
Mm-hmm.
the night, then game all day, stay the night, and leave
And
the
then
next
drive home.
day. So that's like a whole weekend for a
Mhm.
single day of gaming, So I definitely get what you're talking about. I think the only solution to my mind is that maybe more content creators and publishers could think about coming to these smaller ones, like you've got one
Mhm.
in Lincoln, and visit. Like I told you offline, like we're thinking about coming to Great Plains this year because, we get to meet you and we'll get to see Nick and Mandy again, who
Mhm.
I've only had the pleasure of meeting once, So yeah, that's definitely, I guess we could do that. We could certainly
Mhm.
do that better to accommodate everyone in the community.
Yeah. And
Um,
I know margins are so small in board
yeah.
gaming, and like
Yep.
I know financially it's not viable to attend every single
Right.
little convention. I totally get that. It's just one of those things that has been a frustration on my end is just the answer to everyone has always been like, just go to the cons. Okay, well, I
Yeah.
can't, so
I think so. I think if I'm not mistaken, you had a post. I don't know if it was. I think it was Gen Con this year. You had a post or a message or something. You were expressing your FOMO, and I think I DM'd you and was like,
yeah.
"Don't, like, no, right?" Because I kind of see my role as a podcaster when I go to these conventions as a way of me to bring it to you, but don't so that
Mm.
you don't feel the FOMO
Mhm.
rather than the look what I bought, look
Yeah.
who gave me this. It's more like, hey,
Mhm.
look, I try to do that.
Mhm.
I don't know that I succeed, but I definitely try to do so. And I try to alleviate as much of our
Mhm.
greater community's FOMO as much as possible because I don't like emotional manipulation.
Mhm.
I try not to do it myself. Certainly, sometimes I have, both intentionally and unintentionally, but as a victim of it as well. So
Mhm.
I'm very reticent to manipulate one's emotions for whatever
And I think that,
purpose.
especially with that Gen Con aspect, I think we have already decided, like, I don't think that's for us. We're
Yeah.
both very introverted. We get very drained if we are around large groups of people for a very long time. And we even felt that when we were in Omaha, we went to the zoo and we were like, okay, we're peopled out. We can go home and be quiet now.
Right.
But we loved going to Dice Tower West. Dice Tower West was a great experience as far as you got to play games. Like that was the main
Right.
focus. It wasn't necessarily going to meetings and things like that. But we love gaming with people and we just wish we could more easily do so.
Sure. Well, hopefully we will see you at
Yes,
Great
that
Plains
would be awesome.
next year. I hope that we can make that happen. So the last thing I wanted to ask you is, well, that's not true. I have two more questions. So when you dove into content creation early on and even now, are there any content creators in our community that have inspired you and maybe continue to inspire you today?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think that's something that's great about our community as well. Is just the inspiration that we can take from each other, and you don't want to copy somebody, but just
Right.
being able to be like, "Oh, that was really cool. I wonder where I could take that." For sure, Chris from Just Three Meeples, three little Just Three Meeples, Just Three
Just
Meeples.
three me Yeah,
Okay.
just three
He isn't
meeples.
as active now, but he was super supportive. Like he answered all my questions and like he was awesome for helping me get started. Someone that I take a lot of inspiration from and I still take a ton of inspiration from is Dana at Better Mood Board Games. She is the queen of reels and I
Yep.
just wish I had a modicum of her talent. She is so awesome.
Tell me
Um
about it,
I
right?
know
Oh,
every time I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that?"
she's going to be part of the series too as well.
Yay.
She's yeah. Like, that's what I want to talk about is her reels. I think
Mhm.
I think everything she touches just is
Prince
magical.
of Gold.
Well, no, you don't want that. That could be bad. Right.
She is another one that has been so like, if I ask a question, if I'm like, hey, how'd you do that? She will tell me. She doesn't gatekeep. She's not like, well, that's just my little secret. Like, she wants everybody to be so successful in this
Yep.
as well. She's awesome. And just, as we go through, everyone just really does support each other. Rich from 60 Minute Gamer always answers my questions when I have them. Corinne from Game Changer by Corinne, she and I really have been a bit of a cohort as we've come up. And so definitely leaning on each other, and even not just content creation, but like, hey, how are you doing? You didn't post last week. Like, are you okay? Like, just being able to check in with people like that too is so impactful. So,
yep. That is, man, that is a full-time job, because most of my content is spent sending you a DM going, just checking in, how are things going, right?
Yeah.
I don't, you just, but the problem is like, so if I haven't messaged you in a while, mea culpa, mea culpa. I am not forgotten about you. It's just the reality of life is, God, our community is, for as niche as our community is, right? This community is huge, and it's so hard to keep up with
everybody.
Everyone. And I always like it. It keeps me up at night. I lose sleep over the fact that, well, I haven't reached out to so and so in like 3 months, 6 months. These are the things that are in my nightmares.
You're so awesome.
Because that's, I mean, thank you. I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you. That is very kind of you. Yeah, it's just it's so hard.
It is.
It's a real challenge.
Even just the keeping up with like, oh, did they post this week? Maybe I just didn't see it. Maybe they have been on and I just didn't see it. And I'm the awkward social person too, so I don't ever want to be like, hey, what's going on with you? Like, I don't want it to come off like pushy.
I worry about that too. Okay, like I reach out and you don't respond, and I'm like, oh my God, I came across this. Oh no. Yeah, it's never y'all's fault. I'm just
internalize it for sure. I internalize it.
Y'all are busy. Y'all have more important things to do than to talk to this man. Things are happening. It's all me.
And I am super guilty of, I open it and then it's not unread anymore. And then it gets buried. And so then I'm like, oh, did I reply? Oh my gosh, that was like 2 weeks ago and I never replied.
Yeah. I also think the algorithm works against us. I talked with Grant Lyon, who was on the series earlier. There were some influencers and content creators that I had messaged, just like I messaged you, like, hey, can I get your email, send you the pitch for this whole series? And I can go and I can see they've never read it. It still says sent, because you get so many messages.
Yeah,
it gets buried.
Did it go to the spam folder? That's something that like I forget to check. Like, I forget to check my requests sometimes. And so then that gets, and then there's even a separate subfolder in the request folder that's like hidden requests. So, oh my gosh, if that doesn't show up, then
I know. It's just crazy. Okay, last question. What piece of advice do you have for someone who's thinking about getting into content creation and they reach out to you and go, Sarah, I love your work. How do I do this?
Step one is just being true to yourself, putting your opinion out there. Do your thing. Like, if you try to copy somebody, it's not going to go well. Like, you're going to burn out because you're not being yourself. And people just don't connect with if they perceive it to be kind of fake or a copy. Like, we're a small enough community that we've probably seen a lot of each other's content. And so if you're like, oh, they're just copying that person, well, that's not going to go over very well.
Right.
Step two is not the fun step, but do the research. Do some looking, like tips for growth on your platform. Watch some people that know what they're talking about, but also make sure they know what they're talking about, because you can get some creators out there that are like, well, this is what you do. And no, that's really not great advice. Right. So you just got to be careful about who you trust. Step three, as you can, it just depends on what you want to do. If you just want to do photos, I think your phone camera is perfect. You're probably good. But if you want to get into some video and stuff like that, you might need to upgrade some equipment, and that's a financial investment for sure. And for somebody that does this as a hobby, how much can I invest in this hobby that is a hobby of my hobby? Hobby is playing games, but my hobby of my hobby is making content about it.
Right.
So
yeah, we don't get paid for this.
No, it is not. If you're getting into this because you think you're gonna make a lot of money, then that's probably not a good reason to get into this hobby, for sure.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
so true.
there was one other thing I was going to say. It's gone now.
Okay, well, one day when Sarah remembers step 4,
Yes.
she'll let you know. You're going to get all kind of requests in the new
What
year.
was step 4? What was
What
step
was
4?
step 4? Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm so glad we finally got to meet.
Yay!
It's been a real pleasure. So tell everyone where they can find you, Instagram, YouTube, all that.
So, yep, Instagram is at Sarah Always Loses. And then YouTube, our channel with our friend is called Let's Table It.
Let's table it. I'll link that in the title of the episode. Yeah, that'll definitely. Guys, as always, happy holidays, season greetings, etc. ad nauseum. Make sure to like and subscribe to this episode. This is episode 153. I've done 152 before this, so go check it out. There's some great content out there, and this content series might become permanent. This has just been really great. So going to line some people up for the new year, but keep listening. And as always, be kind to each other. And let's play more games.